It's always a pleasure to have you, grace our screens on Tax and You podcast, proudly powered by Cross River Internal Revenue Service. My name is Achane Adams, and today we'll be delving into the trending issue now in taxation. The new Nigerian Tax Reform Act that has just been signed to law this year by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on the 26th day of June 2025. And to take us through these reforms, its key components, objectives, and its implications for the tax system, and of course Nigerians at large, we have Dr. Patience Egu. She is the head of Revenue Assurance, Cross River Internal Revenue Service. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you, Achane.
Always a pleasure to have you
here
with us. So today we are talking about, the new Nigerian tax reform laws that have just been signed by the president. What is this reform all about?
Okay, the National Tax Reform Act is an act of the National Assembly, and it consists of 4 key acts on taxation, with the aim of improving the Nigerian tax system. So it's not just an act, there are 4 of them. One is the Nigerian Tax Act. The objective of this act is actually that this act actually consolidated various acts on taxation. For instance, we have the Companies Income Tax Act, the Personal Income Tax Act, Capital Gains Tax Act. Before, you will see them in different documents, like single documents. But the Nigerian Tax Act has been able to consolidate all of these into just one document. So now when you want to make reference to these issues on capital gains tax, or personal income tax, it's just one single document you'll be looking at, no more several documents. So that's what the Nigerian Tax Act has been able to achieve. Then another is the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. This act actually sets rules and standards for tax administration in Nigeria. Like, let's do this and do it the same way, kind of. Not, okay, the federal government is doing it this way, at the state level is a different way. No, like, it should be a uniform thing. Whatever Internal Revenue Service in Cross River State is doing should be what Akwa Ibom State Internal Revenue Service is also doing. So it's now like a uniform kind of procedure because of this act. We also have the Joint Revenue Board Act. I know you'll be hearing of JTB, Joint Tax Board. Okay, now, this is just like the JTB. It handles issues of JTB. Okay. You understand? So it's more like, but for now, this act has been able to improve coordination between the various levels of government, and has also been able to harmonize revenue administration in Nigeria. One key aspect of this act is the fact that there's now something known as the tax ombudsman. Yeah, we used to say that in Nigeria, the taxpayer is not properly protected by the law. But with this Tax Administration Act now, the Nigerian taxpayer is protected, because the tax ombudsman actually will be looking at activities of the revenue authorities. Now, if you do something that will affect the rights of the taxpayer can actually approach this body and report to that revenue authority.
Wasn't it there before now?
No, we didn't have that before now. It's something new. Okay. It's something new. So we now have that because of this act. Though they have power to make revenue authorities appear before her, there are actually some areas they cannot delve into. For instance, issue of interpretation of the provisions of the act. You can't go to them to handle that. That will still be handled by the regular courts. Okay. Yes. And then if the matter is already in court, the taxpayer cannot now still take the revenue authority to appear before them. So issues like that cannot come before the tax ombudsman. Then there's also another aspect of which I really like, the tax appeal tribunal. Okay. Before now, we've had issues of people feeling that the tax appeal tribunal ought to be for issues of federal government collections, not for states to appear before her. So if you have issues with FIRS, then you can go to tax appeal tribunal. That it's not that, okay, you have issues with states, you take them to tax appeal tribunal. So that issue has been lingering. Those states still appear before the tribunal, but we used to call it academic work.
Okay.
You understand? We've looked into it, like, do we really need to appear before the tax appeal tribunal? You get it? So, but with this act now, it has settled that issue. So that's academic work will no longer come up because the act has settled it. Because it used to be an issue that, like, oh, it's because it was a body that was made from the FIRS Act. That's why that conversation was going on. But now it has been settled because we are also going to be bound by the Nigerian Tax Administration Act as states.
Okay.
Then the Nigerian Revenue Service Act is the fourth act. I had said three before now. That's the fourth act. That has to do with the Federal Inland Revenue Service that we know now.
Okay.
So this act is going to replace the FIRS with something that is going to be known now, a body to be known now as the Nigerian Revenue Service.
Okay.
So this Nigerian Revenue Service will now be handling all federal collections when it has to do with taxation. You don't have different MDAs handling taxation anymore. It's now going to be handled by the Nigerian Revenue Service. So they will oversee all federal government corporate taxes. And then any tax that has to do with non-resident entities,
you understand?
Yes, they will be the one to handle it. And then, so anything revenue collection at the federal level is to be handled by the Nigerian Revenue Service.
Okay.
That's why the conversation now is like, that has to be brought down to the state level. Like, let the entire revenue service of states also be the sole body to handle anything revenue collection. Let what's it called? The MDAs focus on their core functions and leave revenue collection for the entire revenue service. So that's the conversations going on right now in the tax environment. For the three acts, they were actually made taking into recognition matters under the exclusive list.
Okay.
You understand? Exclusive list means federal government collectibles. So the question has been, since it's based on exclusive list, will it actually affect our state collections? Okay. And the answer is actually yes. Okay. There are some state laws on revenue that we may have to either repeal or we may have to amend, because any provision of our state laws on revenue that has become inconsistent with the provisions of any of these acts has to be either repealed or amended. Okay. And then for us as a state, for states, I will not be speaking as just cross-financial services. For revenue authorities in states, it means your revenue administration law will have to be either amended or repealed. For me, I think a repeal will be better with a new one coming up. Any law of a state that has to do with consumption, collection of taxes on consumption, may have to be amended or repealed, because, of course, as we discuss further, you'll see that VAT has been able to handle that so well. So states like may have to TBL, yes, for us in cross-financial, we have to, yes, going forward here.
Okay. There was something you mentioned. What's it called? During one of the acts, I think it's the Nigeria Revenue Service. We talked about payment of taxes for non-residents. Is it that before now, people didn't used to pay tax, like those in the diaspora didn't used to pay tax?
Yes, it was actually quite difficult getting taxes from them. Okay. You understand? So they could actually stay where they are, do business in Nigeria and get away with it.
Oh, really?
Yes, but with this reform, it won't be business as usual anymore. So, yes, Nigeria Revenue Service will be handling that now. Yes, for such entities.
Okay. So, we'd like to know, can you just give us like maybe 10 facts we need to know about this new reform law?
Okay, I'll start with what everybody is really interested in and really celebrating, especially those the low income earners. Yes.
I can't celebrate.
Of course, you know you're HNI, so you can't celebrate that. So for any resident in Nigeria that earns from 800 and below as an individual, you're actually going to be tax exempted. You won't be paying your income tax as an individual anymore.
Annually. Okay, so you just take your salary from January to December at the top. And if it's above 800,
you'll pay.
HNI, that is high net.
That is high net worth. If it's above 800, you're an HNI, high net worth individual, so you will pay. But if it is below, then you will not have to pay.
Okay.
So that's what will be happening come January 2026.
That's good news.
Really, but you won't be benefiting from that. Then the reform, the act has actually made the tax system collection a progressive one.
That's number two.
The focus is more on the HNIs now. Let's tax wealth and stop taxing poverty.
That's still on point number one.
It's like a follow-up
of
number one. Okay. Yes. Okay. Number two, for value-added tax as a VAT, it stays at 7.5%.
Okay.
So essentials like food, electricity, medicine, healthcare will be exempted from VAT. And then, like I told you earlier, issue of consumption tax.
Yeah.
The Nigeria Revenue Service will be handling VAT collection. And then there's a sharing formula for states, federal, and the local government. Okay. For the states will be getting 55% of whatever is gotten from there. And then the federal government will be getting 10%. I actually tax that 10% like an administrative kind of charge for me. That's how I see it. And then the local government will be getting 35% from VAT. So it therefore means that come January, states IRS will have to be working with the Nigeria Revenue Service on this to get her due. Yeah. Then another aspect is tax relief. That's point number 3. Okay. Tax relief. Before we used to talk about CRA, that's consolidated relief allowance. But come January 2026, we'll be talking about rent relief.
Okay.
Yes, there's if your rent 500,000 naira rent, it will be exempted. So the table will change when we're discussing reliefs now. The table will actually change come January 2026. Okay. And then we have stricter penalties for tax offenders.
Stricter penalties for tax offenders.
Yes. For instance, not filing, of your returns is now stricter. So aside the first 100,000 you have to pay, there's a monthly charge on you now. So it means taxpayers will have to sit up and file their tax returns when due. Yes, because the more you delay filing, it will just be that one-off on you anymore. It will keep accumulating monthly. It attracts more payments on you as an offender. Another aspect of it is technology. Tax collection, administration and collection will actually be like 99% based on technology. You understand? Automation. If revenue authorities don't key into this from the federal level to the state to local government, then you will not be able to benefit from these reforms. So we need to key in, we need to invest in technology to get it right. If not, the acts will just be documents sitting in our offices, but there will be no positive impact in our collection. So
I think I would like to commend the Prince Basi led administration through the own IRS chairman here, Prince Edwin Okon, who has been really, really hard on automation. Before now. So we were actually, he saw ahead and started preparing towards this. So for us in IRS, we are ready. Yeah, we are ready. We are ready. Just 1 or 2 touches and we are set to benefit from it. So, like I said, I'm speaking to state IRS, not just IRS of Cross River State. And then with these reforms, for states to benefit
the Act has made provision for synergy between the various state IRS.
Okay.
Now, if I need that information from Akwa Ibom State IRS now, as Cross-River State IRS Service, I can approach them to support me. If they discover a taxpayer in Akwa Ibom State that is trying to evade payment here, they can actually, on behalf, with our approval, on behalf of Internal Revenue Service Cross-River State, handle that taxpayer in their state. We have instances where people reside in Akwa Ibom, for instance, and maybe you need tax clearance and you feel that they're going to assess you so much, you now come to Cross River. Going forward, it won't be business as usual that you can try to evade those things. No,
so it's more like you can run, but you
cannot hide. So if you come here, we can handle you as if this is Akwa Ibom State. And you'll be assessed accordingly. Okay. So just for us to reach out to Akwa Ibom State IRS, like, oh, so person, and like I said, technology, just key in and you get proper details, and that person is assessed as the person ought to be assessed in Cross River State. So there'll be improved relationship between state IRSs. Okay. And then these measures aim actually to control and bring to the barest minimal issues of tax evasion and avoidance.
Yeah, that's a big
I know what that means. Yes. So it will also promote voluntary compliance. There will be improved in voluntary compliance from taxpayers with these reforms. Another aspect that I, as a staff of Internal Service, really love and I celebrate is the part of the aspect of power of distraint.
A long time coming.
So
that's all I can say. A long time coming.
Like, I've been educating people, like, it's not going to be as easy as it used to be for you, that we have to go to court to get the distraint order before we come and distrain your premises. No, going forward from January 2026, if the Revenue Authority has carried out the necessary procedure of tax assessment, you've assessed, you've served necessary notices, objections have been treated, or taxpayer has refused or failed to object, and that assessment has become final and conclusive, the chairman of the Internal Revenue Service can actually issue a distraint to a staff of Internal Revenue Service.
And then
they'll proceed without necessarily going to court. They don't need to go to court again to get a distraint order. They can, with that order from the chairman of the Internal Revenue Service, we can proceed to distrain the premises of that taxpayer. Okay. So that's a big one for the state Internal Revenue Service. So it's a two-way thing. While the Act is protecting the taxpayer, it's also protecting the Revenue Authority too. Yeah. So it's a two-way thing. So it's for both parties to do their bit to get it right.
As a taxpayer, get to the point where back and forth.
Yes. And another aspect is accreditation of tax agents. Okay. Now, you can't just today we have instances where we're having a review of an objection, and today Agent A is before IRS to discuss. By the next meeting, the organization is introducing a new person without even preempting the Internal Service of, we've changed our agent or something. Now, going forward, the organization will have to register her agent with the state Internal Service, and we have to approve of that person before that person can act on her behalf. So you don't spring up surprises on Internal Service anymore. We know who we are expecting. We know who is to deal with us on your issues of taxation as an organization. So that has actually been handled by these reforms. Then there's increase in capital gains tax rate from 10% to 30% for companies. Then now for individuals, we won't be talking about rates anymore come 2026 January. Okay. When you want to pay your capital gains tax, that tax is now going to be treated as a personal income tax. You get it? So the table will apply to that income that you made from that gains you've made. Yeah, so that has also changed. Then there'll be, like I said, the synergy. So our digital platforms as revenue authorities will actually be integrated. Like we're working together. Like I said,
All the states?
yes, there will be that integration. It's actually being handled from
Federal.
Okay. Yes. So a whole lot is actually going on right now, preparing the revenue authorities,
for
like
that.
federal to state level for that. So before January, it's believed that
there will be the final integration.
Yeah.
Okay. And that means it's going to be a lot of. One thing I like about it, this particular point you mentioned, data sharing.
Yeah.
It's going to be so comprehensive.
Yes.
Very comprehensive.
Very, very.
So if you're in Calabar and you're evading tax or you're avoiding tax, all they need to do is just perhaps punch in your TIN, your taxpayer identity. Something will come up. And if you are somewhere in Sokoto, they'll remind you that you are owing here and you should come back.
Come and settle your debt. Because actually, when you fail to pay your tax, it becomes a debt. Yes. And you have to clear it. So you can't run away from Cross River State and go to Sokoto, like you say, that it won't be that way anymore.
Okay. So in general, from your own perspective, how do you see the new tax laws affecting or impacting the way of life of an ordinary Nigerian? Let me use that word.
Well, for an ordinary Nigerian, like we say, low income earners will breathe. We'll allow them to breathe. And we'll focus on the HNIs. However, there's actually a provision of the Act that seems a bit not clear.
Okay.
There's a provision for presumptive tax.
Okay.
And we are yet to really understand, personally, what will this presumptive tax look like? Okay. Because you understand what presumptive tax is already. We have it as in the state level. So that's going to be another law that we'll have to repeal because its act has been captured by this reform. So, will the presumptive act be dealing with low-income earners? Because the Constitution makes payment of tax compulsory for everyone. So it will, because if you say low-income earners should be exempted from paying tax, does it mean that this act is now acting contrary to the provisions of the Constitution, which shouldn't be? Because the Constitution is supreme over every other law.
Okay.
You get? So I have a feeling that the tax reform committee, they are still working on this and they'll make it clearer as time goes on. So for the low-income earners, let's watch and see what happens with that presumptive tax being captured. Let's see how this goes. And I believe before January, we'll get a clear picture on this.
Okay. Thank you very much. So you've heard it there. We've talked about very, very, in fact, this particular episode is tax-tastic because it affects me directly, indirectly. Me to understand I'm not HNI, so I would definitely think differently.
Exactly.
Yes, and also to put people who are, how will I put it, under their income isn't that high. They're also being considered. So I think at the end of the day, every Nigerian will end up becoming HNI. How? For me, because if you are not being taxed at a certain level, your businesses will grow. I think there's also a provision that covers businesses where some people are not supposed to pay certain taxes. But with time, it's believed that your businesses will grow. As a salary earner, your salary will be increased. And before you know it, everybody will be smiling. Everybody, like I said, will become HNI. That's our prayer.
I know with more being collected from the HNI, it means there will be that positive impact on the economy.
So it's
a give and take thing. So as we do, we get back. And then there will be wealth redistribution. Getting from those that have and making those that don't have to benefit from it. And that is one of the components of a good tax system, actually. Wealth redistribution. So I think the committee on this tax reform, the Kunle Taiwo Oyedele's committee has actually done a good job on this, and actually give it to them. It's when they started, I was like, these things I'm saying, are we going to achieve this?
Everybody's mind was like,
True, and I must give it to them. From findings, we reveal actually that we started reaping from this report.
Already?
Yes, we actually.
Okay.
Yes, we actually. So, personally, I look forward to January 2026.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Before we even go, there's this other concern that, you know, when these conversations come, for those of us who are in the tax sector, taxpayers would always have a question to ask.
Okay.
And one of the question is, for example, you are taking off TDL. Won't these taxes that is being projected to look like, okay, we're going to scrap it or we're going to repeal it, won't it be embedded somewhere else, maybe under a different title or a different name or a different tax?
Okay, no, it won't, because that would now be multiple taxation, which is wrong. So if a state comes up with a new law and tries to hide under it to steal tax, like the consumption thing,
yes,
it means that your law becomes inconsistent with a federal legislation, the act. So if challenged in court, it will be set aside.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we've heard it. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Patience. Like I said, it's always a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you, Chane.
And we hope to see more of you as the new law continues to, you know, unravel itself to you and I and our fellow Nigerians out there. As we get more information on Tax and You podcast, we will continue to bring those updates to your doorstep. So today we've talked about the new Nigeria Tax Act, which are 4 laws, which are 4 acts under one, now being made into a law that has been signed. We would want, or rather my take home is, Nigerians should try to avail themselves with as much information
On this.
as possible. It has come to stay. It's already happening. So January 1, 2026, we're on the other side. So if you're on this other side where you don't have enough information, information is key. So read as much as you can, research as much as you can, ask questions as much as you can. Until next week, we hope to see you again. Wish you good health. And of course, please remember to file your returns. You have heard one of the, consequences, the penalties of not is now stricter. So as every month, at the end of every month, starting the new month, please go to any IRS office nearest to you. In Cross River State, we have 18 local governments and we have about 21 tax offices. Avail yourself of the opportunity. Go out there and file your returns and pay your tax. So until then, stay informed and keep crunching your numbers and keep bringing your taxes in, because your taxes are the revenues government use to develop the society. See you next time.